Eages here. This is just one day shy of 3 weeks of losing my brother, and I don't know how to feel. I feel like shit. Losing someone close to is like no fucking joke, man. Because it makes you even more sad when you think about legacy. Like we had a lot of adventures that we didn't even go on yet. You know, all of us are under 50 years old, so like we still had a lot of time to do stuff. Here we're gonna go down the spooky street, you guys. I have the camera turned more. Yeah, we're gonna do this. And even though we don't need to, we're gonna cut back this way. Just so we can go through town. The backside of the beginning of the town. Here's the cemetery at the top of the hill. Here's the good old Villa Street. You've got taquilleras and a grocery store or two, and that bar and nightclub is a cool place, actually. Back when I was young and could handle alcohol in my system, I had a small cocktail with whiskey yesterday and I fell asleep. I'll smoke pot till I drop, but man, I don't know if I'm gonna. Every now and then I'll have a brewski, you know what I'm saying? Just maybe an IPA. You know, a craft beer with like a higher percentage, but not like hard liquor. That's the shit. There's the motel, y'all. That's the prostitute motel. No, like, it is weird, one of those weird places where drifters hang out. Here's kind of this back industrial park. There's a skateboard park here. It's like shitty metal ramps, but they built it next to the basketball court because we were skateboarding on the basketball court. Sometimes we were skateboarding and playing basketball at the same time. Yeah, dog, this is the infamous 7-Eleven on Chicago Street. We'll pull through it so that we can turn right out of it. You already know what it is, man. People are always like, you're from the suburbs, man. You're not hood, man. No, but I used to be commuting to the city. Back when I was a bad boy. Hanging out in, cause, bro, I'd be running sacks to neighborhoods I had no business being in, man. For real talk. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm one of them white boys that can hang, but I don't gangbang none of that shit. There were times where I knew people, like, cause I don't gangbang. I guess At the time, I was stomping, and I was like, yeah, locals only. Now I come back to my neighborhood now. Nobody knows who I am. Everybody moved out. Everybody's grown. Everybody's moved. There's younger kids running the block, man. And wait, with legal weed, are they still running the block? I gotta stop that seatbelt alarm. I gotta stop that seatbelt alarm. Good morning. You're watching Eages in morning. You see what I did there? That was a play on words. Not listening to any music right now. Just looking at the beautiful scenery here. The Midwest really blows up, you know what I mean? It's just very lush and verdant and like green. It really blooms. But this year, it's taken all this time, dude, for the leaves and the flowers to come back. Like, that's abnormal. That's abnormal, man. Normal. Because you know how people love to make small talk about, oh, that weather, oh, that Chicago, that Midwest weather, like, oh, like, it's cold one minute, it's warm. No, dude, it's been fucking bizarre. It's like, sometimes it's still cold at the beginning of April, right? Sometimes it starts to get warm in March. But this year, it's still jacket weather. And I know it's early in the morning right now, guys, but like, it's been okay. The high over the weekend was 63 degrees. I'm not complaining. I like this chill weather. It's calm. It's relaxing. But if I don't get a few summer days in before it just becomes, a pit again, that would suck. Dude, I gotta blow my nose, man. Back to the stream, y'all. Back to the stream, y'all. I'm on the screen, y'all. I like pee. Oh, I'd pay $1 for a golden shower. Oh man. So like, I really dislike country music. I mean, I understand the relevance of folk and country in storytelling and Americana, and I do like, like Hank Williams and, like Merle Haggard, and like, I like old, like old country stuff, like obviously like Johnny Cash and stuff, Man in Black type shit. That being said, modern country is like not that. It's just racism packaged in like, it's like people who want to listen to rap, but they don't like black people, so they have whatever this pop amalgamation of pop and country garbage is. But I wanted to do like a parody artist, just really perverted country stuff, like. And as much as I hate AI tools, someone put that prompt in the AI, and the cowboy was like, I like dick in my butt, in my truck. I like beer and pee on my face. Like, I don't know I forget what he was saying, but it just reminded me of the Ram Ranch meme. Ram Ranch. Yeah. So, dude, maybe I should I should like harness the power of Ram Ranch. And yeah, because I'm not homophobic. I just thought it would be funny to like make not even just like queer, but like also heterosexual and perverted jokes. And just like, so people like will start bobbing their head to it. Oh man, oh yeah, that's a good. And then he starts talking about sticking things in his ass, or fucking his wife behind the Arby's, so, something like that. It's like good old country boy stuff, and then it just gets really perverted. I don't know why, but my parody artist version manifests itself as like a country guy. I'm Dank Williams, okay? I'm Johnny Hash. Some people have called me Harry Chronic Jr. My tag on my picture on my avatar is Reefer Sutherland. Okay. George W. Cush, because I'm all about the illegal wars, not having fun. Let's party. I fucking hate my life, man. Is my YouTube getting video? Oh, I forgot to age restrict it ahead of time. Is it gonna get age restricted because I said I hate my life? You know? And I don't like when people try to like can emotions or tell you how to feel or be some way, like it's completely normal to be like under this logical pretense. Hey, my friend that I love very much for most of my life is no longer here. I don't feel like being here either. That doesn't mean I'm going to act on suicidal thoughts. That's just a genuine expression of feelings. Oh shit, I said sewer slide thoughts. It's going to get age restricted. Fuck. How do you even talk about sensitive things on YouTube without instantly getting age restricted or demonetized? Do you have to put a disclaimer at the beginning of the video? Or I don't know, man. All I know is my homie is deceased and I still got to go to work. And guys, guess what? I had to pick up his ashes in a box yesterday. I'm pretty crushed. Because he was in the car and I was like, we get to cruise again. We finally get to cruise again, bro. I don't really love this version of reality I'm experiencing. And as much as I express my feelings of like, you're allowed, we're in a free society, you're allowed to believe what you want to believe, even though I'm a spicy atheist, you're allowed to believe what you want to believe, and especially people turn to that in times of need. But right now, bro, none of that religious gobbledygook is going to bring my friend back. And so you guys can keep it. Thoughts and prayers, stick them where the sun don't shine. Doesn't bring them back, doesn't do anything. Sorry. Thoughts and prayers is insulting. If you want to be a good Christian, people need your time and your money and your care. Like, I don't know. Why does an atheist know so much about Jesus? Probably because I actually read my Bible. A lot. Actually. I don't know. Like, this is not a humble flex. Like, and I got like moved around, and I skipped ahead of grade, and like I was there, and I was I was skeptical since I was a young child. And I'm not trying to be like painting a picture about myself like I'm so cool, like I was so far ahead of the others and the cognitive wheels were turning. I was just born that way. So like there was Sunday school. There were, as far this back as my memories can go before it gets hazy, you know. I think medically speaking, you don't start making memories till like after you're like 3 years old or something like that. I can remember, I think due to trauma or fear, I can remember pretty far back to like Sunday school and early childhood in school and going to the Presbyterian school and like just not even being defiant or like irreligious or disrespectful, but being like, why? And I remember being sent to the principal's office because I was like, why did God create Satan if Satan creates pain? That doesn't make sense. And I was just like, if the devil's the bad guy and God can create a universe out of nothing, he should probably get rid of the bad guy. And then there's so many theists that talk about fucking predestination and free will, and they talk about like, well, without evil, then there's no like triumph of will. There's nothing to overcome. There's no lesson to be learned. If there's no low to experience, there's no high to experience. And you know, the people that tried to like debunk evolution, like Francis Schaeffer and stuff like that, they would yammer on about this stuff. It's just scary that so many people are just like really drinking the Kool-Aid in a modern age. And like, I do my best to coexist with all my friends that are still religious, and I don't want to like hurt their feelings per se, but I've always been on this logical journey since I was a small child. Always question. It left a sour, sick feeling in my stomach. You know, we're little kids at Awanas, and they're like putting little jewels in our crowns, and it's like, it's not even like figurative language at that point. It's like a feather in your cap, a jewel in your crown, for reciting verses and talking about a man getting mutilated when you're like 4 or 5 years old. That's traumatic. He died for you, and if you don't love him, you get to go on fire. What? That's fucking traumatic. So like, I like never really believed it. I knew there was some sort of there were the powers that be, the adults and the big people at work. They just wanted to tell us kids how to live. I cracked the code right away. Here we are in one of my earliest memories is at an evangelical. And if you know anything about Christian dogmas, evangelicals and like Baptist fundamentalists are like the fucking worst. And you know, sometimes even Calvinists can be shitty. But yeah, dude. They were teaching us when I was a little kid about, I think, King David lusting over the woman on the rooftop. I think her name was Bathsheba or something. None of these translations are right, by the way, because there's like no traceable origins for the stories in the modern Bible. But that's okay. I'm not here to shit on religion right now. I was just talking about how I lost a person and all of that, like, oh, they're with Jesus now, or they're with everyone else that died right now. Come on, man. They're gone. They're gone. That's it. It's over. People have said to me, like, oh, you have such a bleak outlook. You're not spiritual at all. Even people that aren't Christian are at least like spiritual and meditate or whatever. It's like, yeah, I have my own deal. Everyone has their own deal, right? But I've said it like this before to people who couldn't understand. I said, how do you know there's like an afterlife? Well, because it says, eternal life in the Son when you believe in Him. Dude, do you remember the time from when before you were born? Do you remember floating in the void? Do you remember the absence of absence? Do you remember the paradox of complete nothingness? Do you remember the void? Do you remember being anathema? No, you don't. So when you die, why would you suddenly be conscious again? If you don't remember being alive before you were born, why would you suddenly... Now, I mean, people believe in reincarnation, and there's all sorts of things that could be possible or could be plausible, but to spend our whole lifetime trying to understand the arcane and the mystical is to waste your life. Is there something divine about the order of things and how life came about and how the planets hang in the sky and just the scope of existence? Absolutely. The Greeks and the Romans were into like numerology and all this kind of, obviously like your daily horoscope, like that shit is fucking fake, okay? Sorry, if you're into astrology or tarot card readings or any interpretive like candle magic or like fucking any kind of like light work, that's great. I'm glad that you smell like patchouli, and I'm glad that you offer calming like meditation for your friends. But even if astrology had some sort of physical gravity or divinity, the stars have all blown out and everything's been expanding since the beginning. So everything is different. So when you're stargazing into a pond to like look at the structures, it's not the same as it was when they mapped it. Now, the planets do have divine significance when it comes to their cycles and how, like, the Greeks knew how the cycles would fit. Like, so the moon, on this date, the moon would do this, because they knew all about the cycles of things. And the problem with modern astrology and coffee shop astrology is that it's not arcane and mystical. It's more like, oh yeah, those personality traits can sort of describe this person. I'll tell people when I meet them, they're like, hey, guess my star sign. And they're like, what? What are you? Like, hey man, can you tell that I'm a Leo? And they're like, oh, right on, I knew it. And I'm like, hey, I'm an Aquarian. I'm a water bearer. I'm an Aquarius. It matches my enigmatic and eclectic nature, liking many different types of art that maybe people might not like. Hip-hop music and death metal music. Someone might not like classical music and suicidal, depressing black metal. It's a toss-up from day to day. Do I feel like listening to slam, or do I feel like listening to, like, I don't know, something like Children of Bodom, or do I want to like fucking like be problematic and rage out to some Pantera? It's a toss-up. Just like if you catch me with my hand in my pants, it's a toss-up. Oh man, I've been trespassed from the library. All I wanted to do was pull my hog. I wasn't bothering no one. I was in bathroom stall too. Oh, beat my meat in the bathroom of the library. I could read a book and I can produce a bookmark. Dude, I hate myself, man. I'm catatonic. I'm ADD. I'm out of it right now. I'm in severe grief and mourning and depression. And so when I try to conjure up little bits of my old silly self, it just meanders into that sort of dementia. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, chat. I miss my bro. On the way to the office, Billy. On the way, we're on the highway. Good morning, man. I got a couple of bullshit streams in over the weekend. Don't forget to check them out. You know, someone I know who had become a YouTube partner and a Twitch affiliate have they said don't give up, man. They're like, just keep creating stuff. It's not all for nothing. They're like, just keep creating, keep creating, keep creating, keep creating. And then when people find you and they do like what you do, they're gonna want to view your backlog, watch your videos, your watch time will go up, and they're gonna want to see when you started and how campy your old videos are, and it feels like they grow with you. And I was like, yeah, but I only play Gears basically. And they're like, it doesn't matter. Do you crack jokes? And I was like, yeah, I crack jokes, but that's just because my mind is a mess. And they're like, well, I made a lot in ad revenue recently, the past few months. They're like, don't give up. And I was like, that was before. Okay, this was when I was just doing it to capture my gameplay because I lost a lot of vision in both eyes, and I'm legally blind in my left eye. I'm severely handicapped in my right eye. I'm not supposed to drive at nighttime. That type of shit. So I started like playing my games that I love again, which is like Gears of War, Halo, you know, like Microsoft, like Halo, you know, and I played my old PlayStation 2 games again, and I was like, Gears 4 had come out, and I needed a surgery to stop the progression of the surgery, and Gears 4 came out, and I was playing the campaign, and I was like running around, and I kept dying, and I like, it wasn't on inconceivable or insane. I think it was on just like hard, like, which is now the new medium, is hardcore or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna come back and play this on insane, and you know, get the achievement for it or whatever. And bro, I was getting killed from enemies off screen and like Lancer downed and stuff, and I couldn't like see, and I was like getting really upset, and I was like, I almost quit playing video games. It's not a friendly disease to have, because every hobby I've ever had, every interest I've truly enjoyed, requires my eyes and my depth perception. And I've always had like a weird scar on my left cornea, like, and they don't know how I got it, and that's what's keeping my vision on my left eye, and that's why I have like the Steve Buscemi eye that drifts off sometimes. And so, like, when I get the corneal transplant, I'll be able to retrain that lazy eye, and I'll like see stuff. But like, yeah, my eyes are messed up. And skateboarding, there's some skateboarders that are vision impaired and blind, and they still handle obstacles, and they rock the cane, and I love and respect that. I almost quit skateboarding. So like, then there was a time before the surgery when I was living at an old apartment with my homegirl, way like almost 11 years ago. And we're in our first little apartment, a chic little place in a town called St. Charles. It was a nice place. There were some crackheads across the way, and definitely Aurora and Batavia had some crackheads coming down, but but anyway, it was a nice joint. And when I was living there before I had the eye surgery, I said fuck it, and I grabbed my skateboard. Like, at the time was like, I had a Black Label 8.25 Future Elephant that was signed by Daewon Song. Okay, this gets weird. And I was so poor, and we were like, you know, we had like a year left, and we're gonna move to the next town or whatever, because our works are to be close to our work or whatever. And I was just like, fuck, man, I have no money. How do I skate? So I took the signed skateboard down off the wall, and I had some like beat up fucking 139s, like solid forged Independence, and just rocking the stock bushings. And I had these crusty ass like bone Swiss that were like almost rusty for some reason, and those things last forever. So like, these were just like a garage kept, you know how you have old skateboard parts and you're like, oh, I'm gonna keep this, I might use these trucks to build a cruiser. That it was those. Okay, so I had this board that I had to keep pumping, bro. I had to keep pumping, and like, it would roll for a few feet, and dude, okay, so that's what, my eyes were fucked. I had the Frankenstein board, which was like it was a brand new deck, but the trucks and wheels have seen better days, and those bearings, I don't even know how they got like that. There must have been moisture where they were, right? So I slap them with some WD-40, you know, I try to use the penetrator stuff, whatever. And then it took over. I was scared of my depth perception and the blurriness and the double vision, and like, I didn't even want to dedicate to like an axle stall, right? But then my border instinct took over, and I like was skating with this haze around me. I knew, dude. I knew like that I didn't have to give it up, because that's when I felt everything by feel. So I was kind of relearning how to skate because my depth perception had changed so dramatically. But I don't know how to explain it. It was a cold, foggy morning, and I had to get all the way to my car because somebody had like a lot of guests over or something. Every parking spot in front of my apartment was filled up. And so I was like, well, I'm going to use the Frankenstein board, and I'm just going to pump. I'm just going to like high leg pump. I'm not even going to put my back foot on. I'm just going to push like some sort of scooter man. And I like was pushing. And there's a set of speed bumps in front of the leasing office. I was just like, why not, right? I hit the speed bump at the right timing, and I boned out an ollie, and my legs were like this. I boned down an ollie and like held it for a long time and then smashed all four wheels, landing like bolt style, and I rolled away. And I was like, oh dude, that felt good, because it was like all based on feel. I really used this speed bump to like catapult me. Okay? And then I was going by and I had to take a hard right to get into the parking lot where my car was. And I took that hard right, and there was a little curb gap. It was sidewalk, curb, grass, curb, street. Okay? I rolled up, got onto the sidewalk part. I did another boned ollie, and I cleared that shit. And I was like, that's some fluke style shit. And then I did a gnarly heel flip over the sewer cover. And I was like, wait a second. My eyes don't remember, but my feet remember. You feel me? Oh, man. What am I even rambling about? Oh, yeah. About my eyes, and when I couldn't see, how I had to like relearn to skateboard by feel. And so I don't know how to explain it because you guys weren't there and you're not in here. But it was just a picturesque. It was a foggy morning, foggy like Silent Hill, and it was like a picturesque foggy. It was like beautiful and eerie and creepy at the same time. And like I said, my car was not parked in front of my apartment. It was all the way over on like the other block of apartments, because there was just parking spaces full. It was kind of fucked up, to be honest. And it was like a slightly chilly but like warm morning, because it was like spring or summer, I can't remember. Dude, just, I don't know if you guys have ever skateboarded or been on a skateboard, but there's something satisfying about the skateboarding. Is all about like navigating your terrain and going over all the obstacles. It's kind of very similar on my favorite other extreme sport, BMX. Okay, so it's like you're navigating your terrain, right? Like you come up to an obstacle, and there's literally thousands of different things that you can do. And then it just becomes like a, even with the skill gap in skateboarding, if you're like completely novice and you just learn to ollie, or you like do like a shove it or whatever, bro, already you have the tools to like express yourself. You take that shove it, you take that ollie, do it on 100 different obstacles. Like, that's what I love. That's what I always love about skateboarding. And that's why, like, even though I grew up doing BMX and like dirt whoops and shit, I also, the whole time, I skated more than I did the bikes. So it's like I enjoyed skateboarding because the difficulty was more. And I love BMX, and I'm not hating on BMX. It was like my other sport that I did besides paintball. And the thing is, I like how technical the skateboard is. The different stances. Like, when you're going fakie on a bicycle, it's cool and it's awesome. You turn the wheel real fast and you spin around, you know. But something about the different stances. Oh, my neck. So like I did like 2 switch flips in my whole life. Something about using my left foot to do the trick part is like, even though I can use my left foot to scoop and do other tricks, it hurts my head. Like, I'm kind of ambidextrous when it comes to like percussion instruments, but dude, my head can't wrap around some of the, so I can do really cool skate tricks, but like doing them the other stance is so, I'm goofy, by the way, which is your right foot forward. And yeah, And why is it called Goofy Foot? Because that's how Goofy was surfing in like this 1960s Disney cartoon. With his right foot out on the front. That's really where it comes from. You're goofy, bro. The left foot forward people would say, you're a goofy stance, bro. But over here in Chicago, if you say y'all some goofies, that means something else. And you're going to get punched or shot. Bro. This is something I kind of hate about myself. I don't know if it's survivor's guilt, but I'm being all happy and peppy and monologuing and ranting at the screen, doing some Kimmy style shit. But I'm really sad and I miss someone so fucking bad right now. It almost feels like an insult to them to be cheery and peppy and try and promote my channel and like get more exposure. But at the same time, if they were still here, I was going to use my YouTube exposure and if I make any money off this bullshit, because it is my hobby to make silly videos. I do enjoy putting together multimedia and making people be like, where is that? What is that? Why the fuck? Like all of my cuts of Tom Hanks are from like specific movies and TV series and stuff like that. With the Tom Hanks memes. So like, if you're like a younger kid, you might recognize fucking like the Polar Express and Beyond type stuff. And if you're older, you know, like Big and like Bosom Buddies and like fucking shit like that. Like, yeah. Tom Hanks is America's dad, and he spans all time and space. He is eternal. He is Hanks. Hanks is love. Hanks is light. Yes. I should do like a communion after dark with the dark wave music and the post wave music, but it's like, you know, low key got a Tom Hanks theme, you know. Because you know what? Like, in industrial music, everyone samples like Full Metal Jacket. What if you had like Tom Hanks in Big when he says, I'm a child. And then the beat drop. Or you could do something more emotional or something from like Saving Ryan's Privates. Shaving Private Ryan. This motherfucker right here, I swear to God, I'm not gonna say his name, but he comes to work. I swear to God, bro. He comes to work, he punches in, he comes back outside, smokes a cig, and hangs out in his car for a half hour, and then comes inside and works. Why? Why you do this? But also, more importantly, why is it permitted? I'm looking at you, Billy Bob. Gotta stop this, man. Hi, I'm Eages, and I'm certified crazy. You feel me, man? You feel me, man? Why did I put on the Jamaican patois? I'm not being cultural appropriation. Sometimes it's really hard to do an accent. And that, like, when you see actors doing that, it's kind of cool. When you think about it. Like, Hugh Laurie speaks, I'm House. I'm Dr. House. He speaks all English like a fucking Yankee. Yeah, dude. You know? But he's actually like, I'm Hugh Laurie. I used to be on a comedy show in Britain and I rub my nipples with crumpets. You know? So like, yeah, acting is cool, and you know what? I probably should have tried to get into that because I'm really good at pretending to be like other people. Because we would always do like sketches and bits when we were younger, and we would film these little bits, and like we would like put on full on costumes and like change our voices and our appearances, and we'd be like, oh, I'm the storekeeper, or I'm the merchant, or like I'm the whatever, or like, and we would assume these roles, and like, yeah, it even back then it was kind of like, hey, dude, I can channel some energy and I can like, okay, I'm a different person now, like. And I always thought, like in the very back of my head, not for money, not for fame, because I don't really like the idea of fame beyond the internet. And like, fucking, it was always in the back of my head, like, can I do this? I was like, I can like cry on command sometimes. Oh, hey, and good morning. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm Eages, your friendly neighborhood loser, just finishing my morning rant monologue because someone I really care about passed away, and the only way to wake up and get motivated and get out of bed is to do some of these rants. I know that seems very insane and very unhinged, and I'm aware of that, but communities on the internet seem to be very caring and understanding, just as much as they are bullying and shitty. When something bad happens to people, they're like, I'm so sorry. And it's not just an obligation. It's like, people don't have to comment, I'm sorry for your loss or whatever. They don't have to type in the live chat. They do. And it makes me feel like a little less alone. But as I continue to grieve here and figure out how my life is going to move forward somehow, which doesn't even feel real to move on without this person, I want to gradually try to speak about more positive subject matter, because I don't want my grief or my sadness to cast a rain cloud over my content and my channel, even though I'm going through hell right now. So, that being said, I want to make some longer form videos, and I wrote out some scripts and some bullet points for filming keyframes, and I think if I use my GoPro like a camcorder, and I just get those modular lenses to deal with zoom and wide angle, and I can use native filters. So here's one of the coolest things about using the native filters is, like, if you've ever had an old camera, like like an old single lens reflex that uses like the real film, and you could adjust the aperture settings, and it's like you could put on the filter, and that means like you're taking the exposure with the colored glass, so it doesn't, there's no degradation and there's no change in the tone or anything, because it's not like you're in a computer program or YouTube and you're like, oh, what filter do I want to use, and you're scrolling the filters. It's just coming from the camera itself, so it has such a more pure effect, and I think I'm going to use that. And because my GoPro can shoot in 5.3K video at 120 frames a second, I'm going to utilize that for like keyframes and opening scenes, and I'm going to get the macro lens and the telephoto lens, and so I can do close-ups of some of the things I want to film, and then far out shots. And like, everybody overuses drone shots these days because the technology has become so cheap, but I'm thinking maybe I need to do one aerial, but not a corny one, maybe lower to the ground, or through an area. I don't know. But what I want to do to get higher shots is maybe be on the top of a parking garage with my tripod. I want to get shots that like seem intimate and quaint. So I want to get that high camera angle, like a drone shot, but not just a boring super high flyover of, oh, roofs. That city looks cool, but roofs. So I want to give that like illusion of being like, oh, we're in the sky, it's a drone shot, but I also want it to be like a fixed shot off of a structure so that like it could conceptually in your mind when you're watching the scenes that I cut, it looks like you're looking from a vantage point that you could potentially be standing at yourself. I'm a nerd for cameras and stuff. I just wish I had more money for my hobby. I'm tired. I'm so depressed. I'm not doing that great, but thanks for tuning in if you did. Thanks for scrolling by and being like, who the fuck is this guy? Fuck this guy. I also appreciate you too, because there's a little bit of that going on in every one of us. You're scrolling, and you see some guy kind of like talking, and you're like, what the fuck? Who the fuck is this guy? Fuck you, dickhead. But you still click like anyway. Thanks. I appreciate that. So with that, I'm gonna head into my day and try and survive. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Eages, your friendly neighborhood loser.